Alright, so I'm going to do a little video on how I turn my backup power on. I am in my bedroom. And all I do is I go to this little, organizer, which I have this all set up on. I have my voltage for my batteries, and I have this remote for my inverter. I extended it with this wire. I spliced it and extended it. Excuse me. I had 50 feet worth. So all I do is I hit power. As you can see, the voltage dropped just ever so slightly. Now the power is on. And I go downstairs. Got my light on the phone for when I turn the power off. Everything's going to go dark. My furnace is on. That's going to have to be reset, I guess. One thing I have to do, I have to get a timer for this freezer and the refrigerator upstairs. I got to make sure that they don't turn on at the same time, because a 1000 watt eliminator will not start one with the other running, including with the furnace running too. So between these three items, I have to make sure that doesn't happen. And I keep my suicide cord I keep up here, out of reach your children. All it is a dryer outlet. Stuff out of the way. A male dryer outlet and a male 110 outlet. That's all it is. I have the one side of this is neutral, one side's live, and so I have the neutral, I believe, is hooked up to this one. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure it is. Do your research before copying me, but I'm pretty sure that's what I had for neutral. And then my live is just going to both sides of this, and that is the, if this was hooked up to 240, you would have 240 coming out of both of these two prongs. But the way I have it set up is these two are dead. They have no power between the two because they are both hooked up in parallel as live. My one live between here, so between this neutral and this live, I have 120 volts. Between this neutral and this live, I have 120 volts, so that I get 120 volts on both phases of my house. And my ground is not connected because I do not believe my inverter can support it. So I just start by unplugging the dryer. So unplugged. Walk over to my breaker panel and just start flipping breakers. And there goes all the power. This is the main one. You make sure this one's off and that nobody's going to turn it on. It's a really good idea to put a piece of tape over it and state don't turn on or something. And this is my dryer outlet. So you can flip that on, because that's going to be now your main breaker for the house when you're backfeeding through the dryer outlet. Oh, flicked it. Now, take my backfeed cord, plug it in there, take my 110, plug it in here. Okay, so it's plugged in. And that's in my inverter in the garage. Now that my main breaker's turned on from my inverter, I can start flipping the rest of these breakers one at a time, because some of them actually have big loads. The house is now running off batteries. The furnace is running. Let's see. I leave all my 240 breakers off. All of them. I don't turn any of them on except for the dryer, because I have to, because that's my main breaker. That one had something heavy on it. The lights flickered. And that's everything. Now, the fridge is still on. I believe it's this circuit. And if the sub pump turns on the same time as the fridge, I will lose power and I'll have to come reset it, which can be annoying because I have such a small inverter. But for the most part, it runs. Shut the light off. One thing you got to be conscious of is always shut lights off when you're running off of batteries. Yeah. So this is it. The house is running off battery power. Everything works. Obviously, I'm not going to be running the microwave when everything is running. You can, though, I can run this toaster oven, just the two bottom elements, but I got to make sure everything else in the house is off because it takes too much power. But yeah, just thought I'd do a quick video and show you what it takes to turn my setup on and how long it takes to set up in case of a power outage. And that's it. Now I go back. I am draining my batteries. We're holding at just over 12 volts. It's a 400 amp hour battery bank. So if I'm down to 12 volts, I must be pulling almost 1,000 watts right now because I have my laptop running. The furnace is running. What else is running? The fridge was running when I went through the kitchen. I have all these lights on. Light here, light in the hallway. I have downstairs lights on. I have phones and tablets charging. But yeah, just thought I'd like to share this. Thanks, see you later. Here's one problem with having a smaller inverter that you have to deal with is intermittent power outages if you take too much power. Like I was explaining earlier, a few too many things turned on at the same time and I am powerless. Got a lamp on there. I went downstairs and I turned the fridge breaker off just for now. And we're going to see if she boots. Here we go. Oh, and there it is. Power's back up and running. The smoke alarm's back up. We got power. And I just heard the furnace kick back in. Alright. I'll keep you guys updated. Let's see, what time is it now? I started at 6. It's 6:40. I'll do another quick update along the way maybe, and maybe once before bed. And if I feel like it'll make it through the night, maybe I'll go through the night, but we'll see. See you later. We're 1 hour into the test. Everything's been running good. Computer's on. Lights are on. Lights are on downstairs. And seeing as I unplugged my fridge and my freezer, it's time to turn it on. This is kind of what I would have to deal with if the power actually went out. Pardon my laundry. But what I'm going to do, so the furnace doesn't come on while we're doing this, I'm just going to turn the furnace off. And then I'm going to turn this one on first. And let's see. Let's hope it doesn't reset everything. Nope, it's started no problem. Started the freezer, so I'll let that run for 15-20 minutes. And then I'll do the same thing with the fridge. And then after that, I can leave it for a while again. Once they get up the temperature, I can easily leave the freezer for 4 to 8 hours, and the fridge will probably be about 2 to 4 hours for the fridge. The freezer can stay cold a lot longer than the fridge does. Alright. Alright, we're about 3 hours into the test. Everything's running still. One thing I did notice, and I highly recommend that you do not use old refrigerators on solar. I have quite an old one. I think it probably came with the house, which is about 14 years old. This is it here. This is it. Just an oldie but goodie. It takes almost the entire surge of the 1000 watt inverter to start it up, but the one downstairs, the freezer downstairs, takes next to nothing to start. That one can be plugged in all the time, no problems there. But as soon as the fridge turns on, it cuts out all my power to the house. So what I did was I turned all the breakers off in the house, and then I turned just the fridge breaker on, and the fridge started up. But the fridge wouldn't start up with my laptop running, and with all the lights in the house on, and with just random loads. I shut the furnace off and I shut the other freezer off so they wouldn't stop the fridge from starting, but it still wouldn't start. But I'm pretty sure if you had a newer fridge, it would be more like my freezer, and it would start a lot easier. It would have a lower starting watt. But yeah, so it's doing very well. It's only dropped about 1/10 of a volt this whole time been running. This is under heavy load. We're looking at about 70 amps, 80 amps draw on the battery. If not, maybe a little bit more, maybe closer to 90. I think I'm drawing about, with the fridge and all the lights and everything on, I'm drawing close to 700, 750 watts. So under load, this is not a bad voltage to have. Once I got down to about 11.5, I'd probably shut the system down, but that would be well into the night. Plus, into the night, I wouldn't be running as much stuff because I'll be sleeping. So I'm sure this would make it till morning. And that would only be drawing about 50% of what my battery bank actually has, which is 400 amps hours. And just thought I'd share this with you guys. Please rate and subscribe if you like my videos. Thank you. Bye.